in terms of transitioning out of sport and the whole process of leaving as a competitor and then jumping into a career, trying to progress in a career in law, what were some of the biggest obstacles for you? Some of those low points or challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I think the main obstacle that you face is that your whole self-identity is tied to sport, and sport sort of ends on one day. You know, your season ends, your training is over. The next day, you're not training anymore, and you've got to kind of pick up the pieces and move on to your next pursuit. So, how I sort of made that transition, a few different things really helped me. First off, I started thinking about it before I even retired from sports. So I was already taking some courses on the side, sort of considering what I wanted to do with my career whenever sport ended up ending for me. For me, it ended up ending sooner rather than later, but it's equally helpful if, you're 10 years out and you're already thinking about, oh, when I come out, I want to do this with my career. The second thing is I kind of I transitioned out, but I still stayed connected with sport in some ways.
Yeah.
So I competed as a varsity athlete in cross country running and track and field, and that sort of surrounded me with a lot of mentors and friends who were pursuing the same thing as I was, and they were sort of looking to have professional success, but they were also combining that with some athletic success on the side.
Yeah.
So I think that was quite critical, because during sport, as I said, your identity is completely tied to it, and your whole friend groups are likely through sport, and through the sport that you did. So, um, I've seen a lot of athletes who have they've come out of skiing and they haven't really gone too far from skiing. They've become coaches or whatever it may be. Maybe not through their own choice, but because that's what they're comfortable with. That's the friend groups that they have. So
Mhm.
I think, yeah, pursuing something on the side, it doesn't have to be another sport, but pursuing something through your university career where you can sort of meet other people and meet other like-minded people who are pursuing professional success like you are.
Yeah.
That was quite critical. And then the last thing would be, I was fortunate enough to have one of my best friends. He made the transition a few years prior, and he sort of acted as a mentor to me and a sounding board of what I could really do with the skills that I was bringing out of skiing and into the professional world. And I think that I was lucky that I had a informal mentor through my best friend, and not everyone's as lucky that they know someone who's done it before them. So I think that programs like TTS that are connecting former athletes with mentors who have done it before they have, I think that's extremely critical to making that transition successfully.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the whole mentoring piece is huge, and that's something that we try and help with, because I think it's an understanding that just because you made that transition, it doesn't mean that it's just going to be easy after that, because that's kind of a process. It's not just, okay, one day you're this and the next day you're
Yeah,
something entirely different, and it's easy and it's okay. But it's kind of an understanding that, like you said, so much has changed. The way that you manage your time and what your time consists of, your habits, your training, kind of some of your goals and your priorities are shifting, and you're needing to find an adjustment. So I think having a mentor, somebody who's gone through that experience before and done it successfully, and they've made the mistakes, maybe because if they didn't have a mentor, then they may have tried one thing and it didn't work, and then another thing and it didn't work. They've learned the right way to do things and maybe a bit about the wrong way to do things, and they can empathize because they know how difficult that can be. So somebody who can just help guide you, and help, I guess, almost look back and say, this way, this is the good way to go, let me show you,
yeah.
is massive. I think that's just such a good point. And I think you kind of touched on it, the value of a mentor, but if is there anything else in relation to having a mentor, the benefits of one, why would you recommend that to someone else?
Yeah, I guess looking, if you compare it to your athletic career, like you have a built-in mentor your whole athletic career, which
Yeah.
is your coach. So why would you not have someone that can sort of guide you through processes uh, in your regular life, so I think there's a huge benefit to that. And I just don't think that you necessarily know what's out there and what sort of your potential is or what you can do with yourself
Yeah.
without networking and talking to people and seeing other people who have made successful transitions and have have the sort of career that you might want in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
uh